Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Why is unconditional love the most powerful thing in the world? Well, it's just a description of the fact that all of us are the same. We're always talking to ourselves. I'm talking to myself, right? Anybody, any one of you that are listening to this are listening to yourself. So anytime you create some kind of veil of me versus them, or any kind of idea that where you think that we're all not all one, um, then we're living in some kind of illusion, right? So my main focus has been uh, in every setting and in the business community to make sure that to try and strive towards people working together and treating each other equally, right? Because at any time we even try to treat each other equally, it's going to unequally, it forces people away. There isn't any one of us that don't have full access to our higher selves, through our meditation practices or whatever, and get out of this illusion of this matrix, right? It's just a matrix of what seems like everything's separate, but it's not. It's all growing together. And so we're witnessing the bigger organism get sick as people are driven apart trying to sell each other stuff. But it has more to do with just seeing somebody else as having the potential to hurt you. Nobody else can hurt you. The only person that can hurt you is you, right? So anytime we place how we feel on someone else, we're lying to ourselves. We are the ones in control of how we feel towards one another, regardless of what anybody else is doing. So we might see people fighting, and if we say, oh, the only thing we can do is pull ourselves out of conflict and make sure that we're not engaging in conflict, because there's no reason to engage in conflict, right? If we're one, why would we want to engage in conflict? Getting pretty close to, and what it feels like, getting very close to end times where you'll see people moving apart from one another. For me personally, it's been really difficult to see how best to present something so that we start working together as a whole instead of being driven apart by some illusions of the mind where we believe that our experiences and our training have anything to do with our value, right? We all have infinite potential and value at every single moment. Just because somebody spent 20 years at a university and learned about how atoms collide does not give them any more value than a child at 1 year old, right? For all one, anytime we create that unequal value system, it drives people apart, pulls people in conflict. It's as simple as that. This is a really simple message for that I'm going to post on socials. And so if we're not working together and we're letting materialism drive us apart, we're in conflict with one another. If at any time we allow materialism or, any way that someone else is acting because maybe they're driven towards what they can get from you instead of what they can provide, it's a spiritual war, right? You're experiencing a spiritual war within yourself. And all we can do is walk away from conflict. We have no other option. All we can do is, if people want to bring conflict to your door, just walk away and walk towards people that are not in conflict. There will always, be, do their best. If they if there's something there's issue and they don't feel comfortable talking to you, then they make sure that figure that stuff out and work together at, unconditional love. The only thing that we can can't talk, and unforgiveness is a form of conflict. So if you can't forgive somebody for doing something, then that's conflict within yourself, right? Because anything can be forgiven, and actually, there's nothing to forgive when you really think about it. Because anytime you're doing something, a lot of times you're in conflict and you're unconscious of it. So, yeah. Anyway, love you guys. You know, we're going to witness a pretty big spiritual war here pretty soon because as more and more people don't have the power to buy anything, and more people still trying to sell something to survive instead of working together and honoring each other and not trying to throw stones at one another, then either on one side or the other. Super simple, right? Either you're at peace with whatever anybody's doing, and then walking away from conflict when people, people start pointing the finger. I had to do that for a long time. I mean, I walked away from a job where everybody was pointing the finger at one another. What good does that do? That nobody's working together, and they're not getting information from each other, not communicating, they're not taking responsibility for the way they feel towards one another, instead of saying, hey, you make me feel bad. It doesn't make sense, right? So, the thing you have to master more than anything is to make sure that the people that you care about, which is everybody, does not make you feel negative in any way. And if it does, ground it out. Find a way to, get rid of that, and then surround yourself with people that are doing the same with you, Yeah, who knows? I mean, maybe some of us will end up being single for the rest of our lives. I don't know. I have no idea what my future holds, right? I'd like to think that that's not going to happen, but I don't know. I don't know what God's plan is for me. And I don't think any one of us do. All we can do is try to do the work for ourselves and walk away from conflict when it tries to present itself. Offer to work together. I'll never not try to offer to work together with people versus just sell them. What am I selling? Right? What do I have to sell you? A book? I can sell a book. Something I created. That's about it. I mean, if I could give it to you, I would, but I can't afford to do that, right? I mean, imagine trying to give away 100,000 books. At least it's just the price of a book, right? So if you want to support my channel, go to thereisonlyoneheart.com. And that website's still under construction. Hopefully it got completed today. And buy a book from me. You don't even have to read it. Support my YouTube channel. It's just a guy who's talking about how he just is doing his best to try and get people to work together and treat each other equally. It's super easy when you say it like that, but so difficult to manifest. So, love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you on the next one.